This past weekend, a friend and I both happened to be in Athens at the same time on a weekend. And despite the fact that I was really tired, because I tend to be there during the week, I wanted to take advantage of the weekend that I had there and hit up the town and paint it red. And so we decided to push through our sense of exhaustion and our tiredness and hit up the clubs. We ended up doing a small bar hop to three different places. We started off at Big Bar, then we went to Shamone, and then we finished everything off at the dance club Sodade. All of these bars and clubs are located in Athens's Gazi neighborhood, which is where most, but not all, of Athens's gay bars and spaces are located. And because each of these places that we visited had a very different vibe and seemed to cater to a very different clientele, I thought it would be helpful to put together a short video where I reviewed and discussed my experiences of these spaces in case you are going to Athens and want to go out to Athens's, Gazi neighborhood and, hit up the gay bars. And you're, want to know what the vibe is like because you're not really sure where it is that you want to go. We started off at Big Bar. And I have to say, Big Bar was a really great place. I really enjoyed my time at Big Bar. Big Bar is branded as a bear bar, but of course, it is not exclusively for people who identify as bears. Again, I really liked Bear Bar, and I would go back there again in a heartbeat. The staff was friendly, the vibe was chill, the space and decor was kitschy and camp, but also very warm and inviting. The bar is actually separated into two parts. So the main bar is more of a stand up space that has a small little dance floor and a tiny little stage in the corner, as well as a DJ off to the side that is spinning music. And then there's the faux outdoor patio, which has benches and tables and is more of a sit down space. Now, one of the things that I loved about Big Bar is that I felt like even if I wasn't there with my friend, if I was traveling on my own, that I still would have had a really good time. Because the bar isn't a sit down bar, because it's a stand up bar, and because the music wasn't consistently blaring, it wasn't a club, I found that the space was really conducive to meeting other people, to sparking up conversations with other people, because it almost encouraged and it facilitated mobility and conversation. Two of the almost prerequisites, I would say, like my own personal prerequisites, I would say, for gay bars that are accessible to gay solo travelers such as myself. So again, big fan of Big Bar. I would go there again, and I would recommend it to any individual that's looking to hit up a gay bar in Athens, whether you're by yourself or with a friend. One thing I do want to say as a bit of a disclaimer, though, is that we were bar hopping that evening, so I didn't spend the whole night there. And it did seem like later on that the area that was, more open to, walking around and had more like stand up space looked like it was going to turn into more of like a dance floor later on in the evening. So, yeah, again, just a bit of a disclosure. I don't know if the vibe of what we started off with at around 10:30 or 11, if that's something that continued throughout the evening. Maybe later on it turns into more of a dance club, so just kind of be mindful of that. Okay, so from there we actually walked over to Shamone, which is named after a starlet of the adult entertainment industry. And in fact, what makes Shamone really interesting is that it's actually two separate spaces. On one side, you have a sit down bar with a patio, and then on the other side, you have an indoor enclosed dance club as well as an outdoor patio. As well. Although I will say that I think that the outdoor patio is actually served by the bar, not the dance club, but I'm assuming if you're going into the dance club and you want to go out, to get some fresh air or, it's Greece, so more likely to go outside and have a cigarette, you'll be sitting at that side of the patio too. We visited the bar with the patio because we found out that unfortunately the dance club did come with a $12 cover. And because, as I said, we were planning on going to a dance club as our final stop, we decided not to pay the money to go inside. But from the pictures that I've seen online and just from conversations that I've had with other, guys in Athens and people that have been there, it seems like it's a really, fun time. But we ended up at the sit down bar and we actually sat indoors, well, more like at the threshold between indoors and outdoors because we wanted the air conditioning. I I did like Shamone, I did, but the differences between Shamone and Big Bar were like night and day. So Big Bar is more chill, it's quieter, it seems to cater to a older clientele. Um, and the vibe is more like classic, if not like kitschy pub. It's more of an indoor space as well. It's more enclosed. Uh, Shimon is the opposite. It's bigger. It's open. It's more modern. There's lots of like neon lights and shiny things and fun, kitschy decor, but in a different way. It is more of a sit down space, and it did seem to cater to more of a younger crowd. So as much as I did like my time there and, I enjoyed, the people watching, because it is more of a sit down space and because it is a bit louder, I didn't feel that it was necessarily conducive to meeting new people unless you kind of were already there with people. So I wouldn't necessarily recommend it as my first spot if you're, traveling on your own, if you're doing some gay solo travel. But nonetheless, I did enjoy my time there and I would recommend that you pop over and pay it a visit, even if it's just to check out the vibe. That again is quite different than Big Bar. Finally, we ended up at Sodade, which is a dance club located maybe 5 minutes away or so from Shamone. I had a lot of fun at Sodade. It's your standard sort of like dance club, so it's loud and it's dark. It's lots of purple and white and blue and sort of darker kind of cyberpunk-ish lighting. It's not a huge space, but there are three different rooms that have one is a smoking room, and then there's the back room and the front room. I think the music is different in the back room versus the front room. But again, not super big, but big enough. Again, I really did enjoy myself. There is a cover. It was, I believe, €10, but it also comes with a free drink ticket. So, given that a beer was €5, not super expensive, right? You get a free drink with your ticket, and so I thought that was kind of worth it. Um, whether I would go there on my own or not, I think that is a matter of personal preference, right? I think it really depends on how comfortable you are going to a club space. And again, not an entirely huge club space where you are pressed up against other people. So again, it is conducive to meeting people because people are like all up in your business. Um, but because it is a dance club, the the skill set that's sort of like required to spark up a conversation. Um, it's more based on, visual cues and it's more based on um, uh, sort of bodily energies rather than sort of like verbal conversation, I would say. So, if you have those skill sets, I think this is the place to use them. For myself, my skill sets, my non-verbal, my visual skills are a bit rusty, just given the fact that I don't go out as often as I did when I was younger. I think the last time, like I said, I went out to like a club was like a year ago, like last summer. And given that a lot of gay culture and interactivity and socializing happens online, online interactivity is not exactly the place for subtlety. It's not a place for, the wink wink and the nudge nudge. Online is more about here it is kind of like all at once, right? And it's also much more verbal and direct. So if you have those skill sets, I say this is the place to use it. That being said, I will say that Sodad seemed like the type of place where if you're gay and going out in the Gazi neighborhood, it's where you're going to end up on a Saturday night or maybe like a Friday night too. Because a lot of people that I saw at Big Bar and Shamone, I also saw at Sodade. So, if you're meet people, if you're talking to people there, if you're making, googly eyes and you're giving each other, looks, maybe Sodade is the place to sort of, take that chance since you're in such close proximity, and try to make that connection. You know what I mean? So yeah, if you're in Athens and you're looking to hit up, the bars in the Gazi neighborhood, if you're traveling by yourself, I recommend that you start off with Big Bar. But again, whether you're traveling alone or traveling with friends, none of the places that I went to were unfriendly or unwelcoming. And I would actually go to any of those places again with friends, or all of them I would actually go to on my own as well. I mean, it's Athens during the summer, right? And so it's the Gazi neighborhood, it's the party place. There's gay bars, there's straight bars, everyone is out in Gazi. There's locals, there's tourists, whether it was a sit down, a stand up, or a throwdown, the vibe was always very friendly towards interactivity and connectivity. You know what I mean? So with that, thank you so much for watching this video. And again, if you like what you see and hear here, please feel free to like and subscribe. Until next time, happy and safe traveling. Yes, us.